What's up, Bills Mafia? Don't it just feel good to be a Bills fan right now? What a great win on Sunday. Last week, if you guys tuned in, you heard me talking about the weather, how that was going to be a big impact on the game. All right, that was one of my biggest talking points last week. And all week long, I had Ravens haters and Lamar Dick Riders all up in my posts, all over my video, talking about, what are you talking about the weather? Baltimore's cold. They play in cold games all the time. Everybody had something to say about my weather comments. What happened on Sunday? Dropped. Another drop. And then the biggest drop of the game by Mark Andrews on the 2-point conversion, just drops the ball, loses the game for the Ravens. Guys, it couldn't be more spot on that the weather played a factor. Baltimore was practicing inside all week leading up to that game. One of their coaches was even talking about how he thought the ground was going to be heated. Like, what were these guys thinking? And when it's cold like that, like I said, it affects the grip of the ball. When it's snowing like that, the ball is slippery. These things affected it in a huge way. We probably don't come out with this win if these things don't go our way, with the wind factor and the snow and the coldness. All of that helped us big time. And you know what's funny? Because these Ravens fans are so quick to be on my video, commenting, talking that shit. And I keep my receipts. Oh, you better believe that I kept my receipts. And I came back to every single one of those persons who commented on my video. And what do they say? Nothing. Crickets. They run away and hide. And you know, that's the worst part. And that's what I love about sports personalities. You know, you watch these shows like The Faculty and First Things First. I mean, these guys, this is how professional conducts themselves. They come on the show. Chris Broussard, he says,
admitting I was wrong, and I was wrong on the Bills.
And who? And that's class right there. That's all class. Same thing with Emmanuel Ocho. He said, Bills fans,
I was wrong. I was wrong because I thought the Bills Super Bowl window was closed. I know Bills fans, I apologize. Josh Allen, as long as he is there, the Bills Super Bowl window is open.
Yeah, no shit, Emmanuel. No fucking shit. We knew that. We all know that. I'm glad that you now know that. I'm glad that you now see it. But you know what? I give them a round of applause for the class to apologize and admit when you're wrong. Because then we say, you know what, it's okay. It's okay. We appreciate the words, though. We appreciate the apologies, and we appreciate recognizing when you're wrong. Because it's not a big deal. You know, people get things wrong. It happens. But to run away and hide after you want to talk on my posts all week, I'm sorry. But that's soft. For starters, guys, I just want to thank everybody for helping me get to 100 subscribers. I passed that this week. I know it's a very small milestone, but nonetheless, it is a milestone. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys. Everybody who's been rocking with me this whole time, I appreciate you guys. I could not do this without you. Thank you, Bills Mafia. Thank you for all the Bills fans out there that are supporting my channel. Or maybe even some people out there supporting my channel that aren't Bills Mafia. I mean, it's unlikely, but there are probably still some people out there that are subscribed to me that are not hardcore Bills Mafia. And I want to thank you guys as well. I appreciate you. But let's jump into this game. So, first of all, I want to give big props to our defense for shutting down Derrick Henry the first half of that game. Held Derrick Henry to believe it was 26 yards the first half, something like that, 21 to 26 yards, somewhere in that range. No touchdowns from Derrick Henry the first half. I mean, guys, that is not an easy task. Derrick Henry is a beast. And when that guy's coming at you, when it's like 10 degrees outside, hitting you, that's not fun. That is not an easy job to take that guy down. And they did a very good job. Then he started to get things going a little in the second half. He had a touchdown, ended up picking up a little bit. But that's when it gets hard, guys. When it's third, fourth quarter, and you've been getting hit by Derrick Henry all day in the cold, I mean, that's when you have to display that mental toughness. And you just have to take it, and you have to endure it. My hat's off to our boys, because they did their thing out there. And with Derrick Henry having a couple of those drops, Derrick Henry, the coldest game he had played in before was 22 degrees. So when he came out here when it was something like 10 degrees, that affected things. That affected the way he could catch the ball. Clearly, he was a part of a couple of those drops, as you just saw. Also, huge props to Damar Hamlin coming off the edge on a blitz to get Lamar, try to make a miss, but Damar wraps him up nice, getting the strip sack, which, here we are again. The ball was slippery from the snow, and what did Lamar Jackson do? He dropped the ball. He didn't have control over the ball because he wasn't used to the elements. Who would have known? But then that allowed Von Miller to scoop up the ball, run it back for 40 yards. And I got to give it to Von Miller on this ball control because Hill came up behind him and he was trying to swipe that ball out of his hands. And Miller held on to that. So that's a vet move right there. The way that he held on to that ball, didn't let him swipe it out of his hands. Good job, Von Miller. Coming up big when we needed you most. And then Josh Allen bulldozing through the line for the second TD of the day. And say what you guys want about the tush push with Josh Allen because, I get that a lot from people talking about Josh Allen. The non-Bills fans are always like, well, anybody can do a tush push. But this second touchdown, this was not a tush push. Okay, sure, he might have had one pushing him a little, but Josh Allen did most of this touchdown in his zone. He bulldozed through that line. I mean, look at him carrying big boy number 96 with him over the line. You don't think every other team would do this type of shit with their quarterback if they could? It's pretty much just Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts who really utilize this. And Richardson when he's not hurt, which is rare because the guy's hurt all season usually, but he also gets used that way. But you don't think that every other team would be using their quarterback like that if they could? It is not easy. It is not for every quarterback. Not every quarterback is built to be able to just bulldoze through the line like that. And Josh Allen, 6'5", 240 pounds. He's a big boy, all right? He's going to plow through some motherfuckers when he has to. And not everybody can do that. So, when people want to talk about it's easy to do a tush push. Really? If it's so easy, then why doesn't your team do it? It's really just the Bills and the Eagles that utilize that move the most. So, I'm just saying. If it's so easy, then why don't you guys all do it? You guys don't all have the quarterback to do that shit. That's why. But the biggest difference on Sunday between the two quarterbacks is one played mistake-free football and the other one didn't. And that was a huge factor. Josh Allen came out there. He didn't have to ball out. He didn't have to get crazy. He didn't have to put the game on his back. He just came out and he played mistake-free football. Then you had Lamar Jackson fumbling the ball, throwing bonehead interceptions. I mean, I don't know who Jackson was throwing this ball to. I mean, I guess they said that Rashad Bateman slowed up on the route a little bit, but he looked like he tried to throw that ball right to Taylor Rapp. He looked like he looked up and said, Taylor Rapp, go long, I got you, dog. I mean, that was ugly, man. And that fumble, too, the ball slipping out of his hands, you cannot be doing that in these huge moments. And this is a pattern with Lamar Jackson. Every single year in the playoffs, he's doing this shit. He's playing shitty football in the playoffs. He balls out all year long, and then he just blows it in the playoffs. And you cannot be doing that when you're playing these huge games. And I'm sorry, but this is the legacy that Lamar Jackson has right now. Guy's a tremendous athlete, and I actually appreciate him a lot for his attitude after the game. He came right up to Josh Allen, dapped him up, all smiles, told him, I hope you win the Super Bowl, I hope you win MVP, just go out and win some shit. And I really like that. I thought that was a really classy move of Lamar Jackson. It shows that he's got love for Josh Allen. Real recognize real, they both respect each other, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to overlook the fact that Lamar Jackson is a choke artist in the playoffs. Simple as that. So, you Ravens fans, you can come and talk shit on my wall all you want about Lamar Jackson being better than Josh Allen, but listen, Lamar Jackson is throwing stupid interceptions, and he's fumbling the ball, and it's just sloppy football. And he doesn't do it during the season, but he does it in the playoffs, and that's a fact. So, he's a hell of an athlete, and I respect him as a quarterback. I'm not saying he's not good. He's a very good player, but he's just got to play like he plays during the season in the playoffs. And then the other big point I brought up last week was having Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard, and Taron Johnson back in the lineup against the Ravens was going to be huge, and it was. I mean, look at Matt Milano. He was officially back to full form. I mean, guys, Matt Milano looked good on Sunday. He had looked the best he had looked all season at the perfect timing in the playoffs. He was getting in there, getting after Lamar all day, putting pressure on him. He had that awesome tipped ball and a 2-point conversion in the third quarter that would have tied the game, but Milano got a hand on it, and that's the only reason they didn't get that 2-point conversion that would have tied the game in the third quarter. He had some big tackles. I mean, Milano looked good. And then what I say about Terrell Bernard being a ball hawk, and what do ball hawks do? They hawked the ball out of Mark Andrews' hands, punched the ball right out of his hand after he caught it, and then scooped it up. Huge play. Huge play. So having these guys in the field obviously made a huge difference. I mean, we basically had practice squad defenders out there week 4 when the Ravens did that damage on us. So once we had our guys out there, it was a whole different story. The only negative thing that I have to say about this entire game is on that final Lamar touchdown at the end, I just felt like he had all day to throw the ball. I mean, he was sitting there for had to have been 10 seconds with no pressure. So that was really the only negative of the day. I felt like Lamar Jackson did have a lot of time to throw the ball at times. And that's one thing that I'd like to improve going into this game on Sunday is that we need to put pressure on Mahomes. If we're going to beat him, the D-line has to be disruptive all game long. The other thing, right before we kicked that field goal, when we went for it on the third down and didn't get it, and then we went for the field goal on the fourth, I don't know why they had Josh Allen in a shotgun. I don't know why they didn't just have him right in the center, take the ball, and just, get in the end zone. It's Josh Allen. If he needs a yard, chances are he's going to get it. But to line him out back in a shotgun like that, 5 yards back, I don't know. That seems strange to me. But it all worked out. I give it up to Bass. Bass had a great game. Made the field goals when we needed him to. Made that huge field goal for us at the end. Making it an 8-point game. That was massive. So good job, Tyler Bass. You're back in my good graces. Now, I know we're all celebrating. We're all feeling real good about this win. And we should be. Because we finally got over that divisional hump that's been haunting us these last few years. It's been 4 years since we've been in this conference championship game. It is against the Chiefs again. This is what matters now, okay? This is great that we beat Lamar Jackson. It's great that we got past the Ravens, got over that, hump of getting knocked out in the divisional game. But we all know that it's just a stepping stone to the Super Bowl. And now this Sunday is the real test. This is the real test, guys. We've been here before. We know how it's been in the past. We need to break the cycle this time. We got to go out there. We got to beat the Chiefs. We got to go win the whole fucking thing, all right? So this Sunday, we're looking mostly healthy. I know Matt Milano did get in a limited practice today from a hamstring injury that he picked up in the game. Taylor Rapp did not practice today. He's day-to-day. We had a limited practice from Christian Benford, who is in the concussion protocol right now, but he's moving through the steps very fast. The fact that he's already practicing in a limited fashion today is huge, so I think that Christian Benford will clear the concussion protocol by the time the game rolls around, the same way that Ray Davis did it last week. Seems like he's going through the steps quickly. We're looking relatively healthy. I know that Deion Dawkins also didn't practice. He has an illness, so it looks like, he probably picked up a little cold or something, but, the snowman's going to be out there on Sunday. We already know there's nothing that could keep this guy from protecting Josh Allen this Sunday. We know we're going to need him. So let's go out there, guys, this Sunday and beat Patrick Mahomes. Enough of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We got to take them out for America, okay? Because nobody wants to see the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl. Nobody wants to see that. Besides Chiefs fans. But everybody in the NFL world is rooting for us on Sunday. So we got to go out there, we got to beat the Chiefs, then we got to go win the whole fucking thing. But that's all I got for you guys this week. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button for me. If you're new to the channel and you haven't yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate you guys. But I'll see you guys next week. And as always, go Bills.